So you're considering DMing, but you're apprehensive, and that's completely understandable. There's a lot of pressure to it. I mean, you're leading a party through a world that you completely created. You have to remember mechanics and make decisions and potentially do improvisation.
Boom! 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 I'm not even in the scene!
That's a lot, but it can be easier. When I initially first started DMing, I turned to I Spy a Peak. This was a world created by D&D that basically provided you with the characters and with the mechanics and the missions, so it was all laid out for you. Now, some of you watching this might think that that is slightly lazy and basic. However, I would entirely disagree. See, I actually believe this framework allows you to be more creative, as it entirely takes care of all mechanics. All it really leaves you to do is think, how can I make this better, and how can I make this more personal to me and my party? So for your first campaign, my advice would honestly be just have fun with it. Be silly, experiment, and find out what you enjoy as a DM, but also what your party enjoys from a campaign. It's this creative muscle that I think is harder to develop as opposed to the mechanics, and I do feel like I Spy a Peak really gave me a platform to do that. Another quick tip I'd offer is just don't be afraid to improvise. Some of my party's funnest and funniest moments just came from pure improvisation. So for example, with my I Spy a Peak campaign, the party had to report back to a town master who was under threat of a dragon and thus was seeking supplies for the town. I came up with a town master because I thought it would be a really easy way to get the party to do missions and kind of create some kind of linear narrative. However, quite quickly they got tired of doing what the town master wanted. As a result of this, well, they framed him for manslaughter. And once this happened, well, my party decided to run for town mayor. At first, I was stressed. However, rather than just throwing somebody in straight away and saying, hello, here's your brand new shiny town mayor, I decided to put it to an election in which my party could run for it. And rather than just making this a simple behind the scenes, I'll come up with an answer, I made them campaign to one member each of the town. So for example, one of them needed their plumbing fixed. However, there were some more humorous ones, like for example my good friend Charlie, who went to a house, a woman wanted to set up a choir group, and as a result they both improvised a choir song together. It's stuff like that that just would never happen without improvisation, and stuff that makes the games really memorable. And for those that want to know, yes, they did win the election. So the campaign finished, and I think everybody had an amazing time, and while I did stick to the bare bones, I did feel like I was able to get some creativity out of there through improvisation and pre-planning. However, moving forward, I wanted to set myself a challenge and try and write my own campaign. Outside of D&D, I had a real growing interest in Stephen King. I felt his characters, while based in fantasy, felt very real to me and relatable and gritty. So from the get-go, I'm just going to recommend Salem's Lot and Misery as two of my favourite pieces of work I've read of King's. I'm hoping to read more soon, but for now, those are just brilliant, especially Misery. I would highly recommend it, and those did influence the campaign.
That's very kind of you.
Additionally, if anybody is fans of The Promised Neverland, I just want to say from the get-go, this campaign was heavily inspired by The Promised Neverland. I think it is a wonderful piece of work. If you haven't watched it, I'd strongly recommend watching season 1. If you want to continue, then maybe look at the manga, because season 2 onwards was a bit naff, or just watch season 1, because honestly, that alone is a great piece and heavily inspired this campaign. Lastly, I was going through a bit of a Planet of the Apes phase. Just the idea of re-evolution and conquering, I just found it really interesting and exciting and scary, and so I just want to say that was also a little bit of inspiration, though I did find the latest Planet of the Apes had a lot of plot holes and was kind of naff.
You damn dirty ape!
Lastly, when trying to come up with the rationale for evil antagonists, I looked at the real world for examples. So these two have inspired my story, and before I go ahead, I just want to make a really clear disclosure. And this is that the viewpoints of my characters and my campaign do not reflect that of my own in the slightest. Rather, these are just ignorances that I've witnessed and studied within my academia and also in my personal time. Just want to make that very clear from the get-go. So, what's the point of this channel?
Boring!
I wanted to create a platform where I could share my campaign, where I could discuss it with you guys who love D&D as much as I do, and we can sort of come together. Potentially you guys could play it, and then you could report back and say what worked, what didn't, what you'd like to improve. And you know, I just want to offer those kind of bare bones that I got from the book initially, but in a video format. And yeah, hopefully we can build a community on here. If there's certain things you guys want me to speak about, or want me to bring people in to talk about, then we can do that. I just really want this to just be a platform where people can be as passionate about D&D as I can. From the get-go, I'm just going to say I've got a lot to learn, but I'm hoping I can learn it with you guys. Okay, this has been Mirashu. Next video, introduction to my campaign. Thanks, guys.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Oh, Dr. Zaius.